Welcome to another episode of the Shortsighted podcast. This one is recorded without any special equipment since I'm traveling, and it was kind of a surprise experiment, see how it goes. Today we're talking to Michaela, who went from minus 6 point something diopters to minus 3 point something diopters, cut her diopter dependence in half, basically. A massive improvement in just quality of life and vision. We're having an interesting chat. She had an interesting way that she found active focus. Also, not too long. She also has two kids. The first one who ended up with glasses, now almost out of them, and a second one who fortunately won't need them at all, it looks like. I think it was a worthwhile chat. I try my best to make these useful. Hopefully you enjoy it. Here we go.
My name is Michaela, and I started with minus 6.25, or even some doctors said minus 6.5, minus 6.5 dioptries. So it was like really quite a lot. And the reason why I started wasn't really so much about my dioptries and my myopia, but it was because my son started having myopia as well. When he went to an eye doctor, the doctor said, look, your son will need glasses. And this was a mistake we did, that when we were trying to get him off nappies, and to put him on the toilet, then we always gave him like tablet, and now I know how huge of a mistake that was. And I haven't done it again with my second son, but, we learn by mistakes, that's just the way it is. And then the doctor gave my son glasses, and this is where basically I started looking into some ways how to improve the eyesight on natural basis. And I knew there must be something. And I have gone through many things, I've just looked into many things, and your concept seemed to me like it was something like it could work. And that's why I joined it. And now I'm having 3 diopters less than I had, when I started.
And that's half, basically.
Yeah.
That's not bad. How long ago did you start?
4 years ago. There was like May, the end of May 2018.
Yeah, that's a while.
Yeah.
And can I ask, like, first impressions when you tried other stuff, when you found EndMyopia, skepticism, what helped you, what convinced you, what got you to go and explore further?
I think your centimeter measurement, that I was able, that you obviously sent me those, I think 5 or 10, I don't remember anymore, like those sort of like emails that were like for free, like sort of like out these guidelines. And I was able to learn even how to measure my eyesight, how bad my eyes were. And I think this is what convinced me. And I could realize that in the morning, the eyes were different than in the evening. And this is where I thought, okay, I need to join it, because this is really, this says something.
Yeah. Despite all the sarcasm and terrible beard jokes.
No, don't worry about it. But it made a total sense for me.
Yeah. And so the first son, where's he at? Does he wear glasses? Did we manage to get out of it?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He actually had some like -1 point, almost like -1 diopter. There was like the sphere, and he had like cylinder of like -0.5 or something like that. But I just realized it was too much. It was too strong, because I measured him myself. And this is where I basically found a new optometrist, like an eye doctor. She's actually ophthalmologist even, or yeah, she's ophthalmologist. And she's a private doctor, and she's an Asian doctor. She's great. And this is basically, she even measured that I improved, which is amazing for a normal doctor, basically coming from university, to basically come up with a statement that I have improved. That's amazing, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. So the first son, no glasses, you're saying?
He has no glasses, because I've just realized that we dropped with my private ophthalmologist. We dropped his prescription, and to the point that I thought there is no point for him to wear glasses outside, only when he goes to school.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How old is
Yes.
he? Can I ask?
He's almost 8,
Oh,
so
okay.
he's 7.
Nice.
And we started when he was like 5 or 4, something like that.
Does he like glasses or not?
Mm, I don't know. I will never ask him, but I think he prefers to have no glasses because he plays football.
Oh,
So it's obviously much better for him to be without glasses. So I think he prefers to be without them.
yeah, that's
But
good.
we just discussed it. I just made a decision that I want him to be off glasses, and that's it.
Nice. And it's super nice, especially when a lot of people don't have the benefit of having an ophthalmologist who's supportive. And then it's more
Yeah.
difficult, right? Because this is a sketchy internet thing. And then a lot of people go to the trusted professional who's like, whoa, 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 this is impossible. And then it's much harder to go, do I want to go that far off the beaten path? Which I totally
Yeah.
respect, but like you're in a lucky place in so many ways that people are supportive that are in the profession. Is
Yeah.
the second one's all right?
Second son is all right. I mean, at the moment he doesn't have any issues with eyes. So
Nice. Easy.
yeah.
Right? It's not that difficult. And one of the things I always say, and I'm just pointing this out to people who listen, like people always ask me about child advice. There's plenty on the website and in the wiki. I personally don't offer any because
Yeah.
I always say a parent with myopia is so important, or a family member, somebody close, to translate the experience. And because I think it's 70% a parenting thing for
Mm,
children, right? Like how they interact and how you see them moving in a space and how they recognize people and how they prefer to be. That's why I said, does he like classes? Does he not like classes? Is such a big topic that I feel like it takes you, right? Like a parent who can make informed decisions and understands their child and their eyesight to get there. So
mhm.
lucky for your kids, right? That you had
Yeah,
class.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, when I see the kids from his school, and they basically have glasses, and I'm just thinking, it's so unnecessary.
It's
That's
ridiculous. It's crazy.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be no like stuff like soccer becomes incredibly difficult, you know. And then if they can't tolerate contacts, some kids are fine with contacts. Not great for
Yeah.
kids anyway. But if you need to wear glasses, I know this because I played water polo in my teens, and my vision got worse and worse. And then the ball just becomes this blurry thing, and eventually you give up, and then no more sports, and then you become an introvert and just read, and it's not
Yeah.
ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the contacts are not ideal either because I have been wearing them since I was like 15 years old or something. And it happened just recently, and I'm 40 years old now, so it has been like 25 years. And as of recently, I have just I started experiencing a lot of blur. Like everything was suddenly blurry, even like when I was looking through the contacts. And I think I have developed the dry eye syndrome.
Hmm.
And this is where I realized that I need to really switch to glasses a bit more.
Yeah.
I'm
Especially
basically, yeah.
especially close up, like while you're fixated on a one point close up, your blink rate goes down in
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, but obviously I always had like the reading glasses, on the top of
uh,
my lenses, contact lenses.
right.
But still I just developed dry eye syndrome because I've been wearing those contacts for like 15, 16 hours per day. And so yeah,
So
that's
when you started off, you were using contacts and reading glasses for close up mainly.
yeah, basically contacts. And I was reducing my power by basically putting reading glasses, in front of my eyes.
Nice. That works too. Yeah, it's not the most common version, but same result, right? Like the idea being, and I'm just pointing it out for people who might be listening or newer, is like adopt and a half less for close up, and however you want to accomplish that. I recommend glasses because what we were just starting to talk about is like contact lenses, fixed focus, dry eyes is a much bigger risk. So
Mm.
switching to glasses for close up is better, but that also works. So you were using the same reading glasses and just reduce the contact lens?
Yes, exactly. I always kept reducing the contact lenses, when I could see that basically I saw pretty well with those contact lenses that I had. I reduced my prescription. I mean the contact lenses, and I kept my reading glasses. I have gone through many reading glasses and many different glasses. I've just tried many things. I have something like 20 glasses, I think, or maybe even a bit more. I don't know.
We are
But
the best customers, right? Like we
yeah,
really are of the lens manufacturers. We buy a lot of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, too. But I did it as a part of this experiment, as part of like getting my eyes, improving my eyes, So
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I didn't have those glasses before, before I start, your program.
Yeah.
I just bought it, I bought those glasses after I started your program because I just wanted to test different things,
Yeah. It's kind of fun, right?
It is, yeah, it is. It's just for the last 2 years, I haven't been improving. Like that's the funny thing that for the first, I've been doing this for 4 years, your program. And for the first 2 years, I have improved a lot. And then suddenly it sort of stopped, it really kind of, my improvement stopped. And I started improving in a very, very slow pace. And I don't know what happened, but I think it was also partly my mistake because I obviously I didn't have one I think I didn't have the consistency, of the lighting conditions of a place, just one place where I could measure my eyes, where I could put my Snellen. And now I realized that the best place is to put it into cellar, and there's artificial light, but it's consistent, the light is always the same.
Yeah.
And
Anything
so
else?
there was
Did anything else happen in the last 2 years that may have been different? We did
um
go through a bit of a thing.
just let me, it was because I just wrote some things on my into Word so that I could a couple of notes, so that I could talk to you. Yeah, I was massively undercorrected. That was also another problem. Because for the first 2 years I was improving so quickly that I was basically like dropping like crazy. And that's what I did even then down the track, and it didn't work anymore. And I think that I actually had minus 2.75 diopters contact lenses, and I've had them now for 2 years. And when I started having them, obviously I was nowhere near this power. I should have had much stronger. Yeah. So
How were you about keeping a log? Is the improvement going
mm,
okay despite the undercorrection? Like, you keep the same diopters, but does the vision improve with the same
it
undercorrection?
was the vision was improving, but it was like quite slower pace. I think like half a diopter per year or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Still.
I think, and also another problem was that now as my contact lenses have become quite blurry, because of this dry eye syndrome,
Yeah.
I basically realized that I can't really do active focus that perfectly. And I feel much more comfortable wearing glasses right now because I can basically get involved in active focus much better.
How long have you been wearing glasses?
I mean, now like a week or two.
Oh,
It
it's
has been really,
new. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's new. I've been really wearing the contact lenses my whole life, so pretty much up until like 2 weeks ago.
How is that going? I see you having large frames that have a thin border, so that's nice, but it's still a lot different than a contact lens.
It is. It
It looks
is, but
cool.
thank you. Yeah, I feel a bit strange because I'm not used to it, but if it's going to be better for my eyes, and I think that even the reason why my progress, with the eye improvement could have been better, could have been faster. And the reason why it wasn't, I think it's because of the contact lenses,
Yeah.
because maybe the contact lenses really, are not that comfortable for the eyes,
The ideal scenario, and I'm just stick with the glasses for a little while. It's a nice change. Like, the one opportunity with the change is active focus is different, your visual experience is different. So it's a chance to revisit habits, right? Like when you're saying, yeah, I'm not really making much progress. A lot of times what happens is whatever you're trying for stimulus is no longer working, right? So
Yeah.
introducing some kind of change to where you're becoming aware of it again, and all the bowel
Exactly.
is challenged is nice. So instead of, or make sure to not just try to resume wherever you left off, but taking a moment before you put the glasses on and appreciating the blur, putting
Yeah.
them on, paying attention to what you can see better than you could without the glasses, like just a little bits to go back into this, I'm paying attention, is really helpful when you're making that this big of a change, right? Like you're going from
Yeah.
contact lenses to glasses. Stick with that for a while, and eventually, depending on how the dry eyes go, you might reintroduce some contact lens use for outdoor distance vision.
I
Right.
sort of did already, but it's just because just only because we are actually flying to on a holidays, like next week, and we're gonna be swimming and stuff, and I will basically be in a situation where I will try to wear glasses most of the time, but when I'm swimming and that, I want to wear contact lenses, and I bought dailies because I think they're a bit better, from this perspective. So I will try the dailies.
Yeah. Yeah. And the more you can structure it, holidays are tricky because unfamiliar environments
Yeah.
tend to be more strenuous. So there's a fair amount of people. This used to be really confusing. It took me forever to figure this out. But when you remove yourself from a habit that involves a certain balance of close up and distance that you're used to, you go on holiday,
Mm.
you tend to have a lot more distance vision time, which can end up being strenuous. It's
Mm.
counterintuitive, but it's just the balance you're used to gets thrown off. So sometimes that can be a thing, right? So just something to be aware of, right? Like
Okay.
however much time you're currently spending in close up, it's okay during
Yeah.
vacation to be like, okay, even though I don't need it right now, it might be relaxing to kind of maintain a little bit of that, not exactly like more distance time is good, but you're going to go do a bunch of things different. You're going to go back to some contact lens wear. You're going to be in a different environment. So
Mm.
just be aware of right? Like
Yeah.
fun because you're introducing lots of changes. And the more you keep track of what's going on, the more helpful it is for, you're halfway done already, right? Like you're down
Yeah.
to 3. Um, Once you get to 2, you're going to be really close to not needing anything for close up. So that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And yeah.
Yeah, it's another year-ish maybe. And the glasses really are an opportunity, I think. I also
I
don't
think
like,
so.
well, now I'm doing the most of the talking, but like even just for the awareness, right? Like contact lenses, you just forget about. The glasses are crutch and you kind of want to get rid of them. So there's a little bit more incentive to go, I don't love wearing these things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true that it can be more psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was the active focus finding? Did that take a lot of time?
Uh, no, that happened straight away.
Hmm.
Because when I was a child, I used to like to look at those sort of 3D images, those sort of images that you look at and you sort of like focus on it, and it has become like 3-dimensional, if you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And the way I was looking at it and the way I was performing the active focus, it was basically almost the same. So
Right.
because I had that experience with those 3D images, and I suddenly remember, how I used to do it like 20 years ago or 30 years ago, when I was like a child. And that actually got me to be able to get that active focus pretty quickly.
Can you explain that for people who are not familiar with it? Like how you did the 3D thing and how that related to you finding active focus?
I just basically almost like I just looked at the picture and I almost like tried to look through the picture.
Hmm. Yeah, like the
Almost tried to
3D
look
things.
through.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
Like the 3D things where you don't
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
focus on
Yeah.
it, right? Yeah.
No, exactly. I tried to look through it, and suddenly then at some point, the eyes sort of focus. It was almost like the eyes come together and sort of focus. And it's sort of hard to explain, but you have to just look through it, through the image.
That's an interesting one. I've never heard that one. I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Active focus is such a abstract sort of thing that you can't give somebody the here's how you get to it, right? Like so some people
But
get
I
it
actually
immediately.
even have like two ways of performing active focus. One is that like to sort of like to looking through it, which then can lead to a bit of like the eyes sort of converging,
Mm-hmm.
which is then probably not that good for the eyes. But then I started, and that happened like 2 years later. I just basically close my eyes and open and blink and open them, and then I already see the things like in focus.
Yeah. Good
I
for
have
you.
like two ways. I have like two ways of getting into active focus, and I use whichever works for the time being.
-6 kind of sucks, right? Like
Yeah.
the image is heavily
It
compressed.
was even -6.5. So
Yeah. It's better with contacts, but with glasses, it would be really awful. Like the compression of the image is just really high at that point, and then you need high index lenses that are expensive, and it becomes a real handicap, at that level.
and it was even my eyes were so bad that I had to wear contact lenses, and I couldn't, for example, drive car with glasses because my peripheral vision was obviously blurry, and I just couldn't deal with it. And it was such a big difference between the vision through the glasses and between the vision, the sort of like the peripheral vision without glasses, without any correction. And I just couldn't deal with it. So I had to, that was also partly the reason why I, was wearing contact lenses, the whole time, because I had to drive a car, and that was much better with contact lenses. But now I'm at the point where I can drive, car with my glasses on. It's no problem at all.
Yeah, nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Like a -6 point something to -3 is more than just 3 diopters. Like it's a huge difference in the.
No, now I have my normalized is -3.5.
Mhm.
And my to 2020 would be like, according to my ophthalmologist, -4. I think I have improved since then, and would say it's like -3.75 diopters to
Yeah,
2020.
pretty
Yeah,
good still. So that
but I
means
have.
people always also ask me for like ongoing checkups, which I'm terrible about. But I would love to like have another follow-up, you know. It's gonna take probably like 4-ish years. The last diopter can be off and on tricky to where
Yeah,
you're just not needing any of these things. Certainly 2-ish years, you're not gonna need these for us to chat because the computer distance will be clear.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I hope I'm gonna get there, because obviously my the improvement for the last 2 years has been pretty much disappointing,
Mhm.
and like it could have been because of lots of reasons, like not having consistency and wearing a lot of wearing the contact lenses for quite a long time. And so I hope that now it's gonna change, because now I'm planning to wear the glasses, especially when I come back from my holidays. I'm planning to wear my glasses till the end of the year, and then I want to see if from now on till the end of the year, that's still like a couple of months, if I've improved.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And now you have a consistent measuring system set up. That's helpful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be good. That'd be good. And still, I mean, as long as you're improving a little bit, you're still not completely off track. Close to a diopter year is very achievable. It's tricky.
Yeah.
The reducing too fast is incredibly common and
Mm.
tends to lead to this exact experience where instead of keeping the same blur horizon, you're excited and you're pushing the combination of active focus and a little bit of wishful thinking to a point where there's just
And
some.
then you are not in touch with your vision anymore. You're not in touch with your eyes, and that's the problem. But I could realize that I was still improving, even though it was like it happened in a very slow pace. But right now, sometimes I take my glasses off and I just watch TV and I see it. Obviously, it's a bit blurry, but I still can enjoy it. I still know what's going on the TV.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
consistency
great.
is really important. Like whatever it is that you're doing it consistently, right? Because
Mm.
one time it's strain, right? Like it's just like running or going to the gym is like letting your body know you need something else or more or different is strenuous, and doing not too much of that and doing it regularly, right? Like so if you enjoy the TV without the glasses sometimes, trying to make
Yeah,
it
I do
where,
it
like
sometimes.
you don't do it too long, right? Where it's just blur or strenuous. it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever the time is, and then put them
Yeah.
on and kind of do it regularly so you can see, does this habit help in the right direction?
Mhm.
I, I like it because I used to use subtitles a lot. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my problem also was that I used to get involved in active focus in summer for the first 2 years, only in the summertime, because I was improving so quickly that I thought, okay, I may as well just work like six months a year. Not even 6 months. It was like 4 months a year. So I was like really spoiled, and I basically didn't do anything for the rest of the year. And but for the last 2 years, when I realized that my eyes were not improving that quickly anymore, I'm basically doing the active focus also in the winter time, which is obviously not that easy because you don't have such light, such a good light,
Yeah, true.
especially in Central Europe, so
My favorite part of the world, really.
yeah.
The other thing is, and what I always say, and nobody cares, right? Like nobody likes to hear this, but it's slow, gradual adjustments of some lifestyle details, right? Like
Mm,
in a way, yeah, of course, getting rid of glasses quicker would be nicer, but it's also you're learning what works well and what part of what you're doing with your life isn't great for your eyes anyway, right? Like
mm,
so it's kind of course it sucks, like it would be better to get there faster, but you're like, okay, so doing this 4 months out of the year isn't really super productive, right?
yeah.
So maybe less focused on that activity, but more regularly. And eventually
Yeah.
it ends up, by the time you're back to not needing glasses, you also adjusted a lot of details about your life that your eyes kind of helped you direct you in a good direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit, right? Like me being in a silly town, kite surfing is a direct consequence of having realized that I need to be outside and focus on distance things, and then trying to find activities that would get me there. Like I was not interested in kite
Yeah.
surfing, but I was like, hey, that'll work. And now I enjoy it. So there's a lot of like bits, I think, along the way that
Exactly. And I'm also enjoying obviously the improvement of my son. And he obviously, the glasses that he has for his school still have some tiny bit of astigmatisms, like a tiny bit of cylinder correction. And this is what I wanna so his sphere at the moment is minus 0.75 diopters, and he has some like minus 0.25 diopter cylinder correction. And this is what I wanna change. I obviously want to give him, like, I want to get him new glasses that will have just a sphere and no cylinder anymore. And I wanna buy it actually this week, so I hope I will be able to do it before we fly away. And I want him to have that, wear these glasses till the end of the year, and then hopefully, next year I might just drop his sphere to 0.5.
maybe, yeah, for kids especially who might
Yeah.
keep them on and close up too. The important thing is that they don't get worse, number one, right? Like
Yeah, and that they're not getting worse, and that's the most important thing for me, and I'm very happy about it.
yeah, that they're not getting worse is number one, and number two is that their social interaction is not affected. Right? People say
Yeah.
schoolwork, reading the board, blah, all of that, yeah, but the recognizing people's facial expressions, especially while moving around at distances, that's the trickiest thing. That's always why I'm careful about giving kid advice, is because what you did, reducing too much, a child might not have a good understanding of what's going on, but they may
Mm.
just not recognize their friends as clearly and then
Yeah.
affect their social life, right? Like, so it's, those are the real tricky things. And that's why I'm with kids, I'm always like, hey, as long as the eyes are not getting worse, make sure that we're not pushing it, right? Like,
Yeah. I'm not pushing it with him, but obviously he doesn't need glasses in a daily life.
right, yeah.
He obviously just has it for school, and he spends quite a lot of time outdoors.
Yeah.
So because he plays football and that's important. But the friendly ophthalmologist, she said, and that's something that I probably a bit disagree with, and she said that I should maybe introduce the glasses even in his free time, like not all the time, but a bit. I should I should do it a bit. And I think that he doesn't need it, but one thing that could be probably a bit beneficial is that, when I put the glasses on and off, that he basically gets the stimulation maybe.
Okay, so yeah, and so the number one thing is social interaction. Like to me, that's always a thing because you don't want to make kids shy or awkward because they can't see it well enough, right? Like that's super key. And also not necessarily spoiling, like overdoing the correction where it's like, oh, that's really nice. I don't need to put in the effort. It's a really fine balance.
Mm,
But the taking on and the taking off, like I was going to say that for you is great because you want your visual cortex, your brain, your conscious awareness to realize what detail exists in the space around you, right? So you
mm.
put on glasses and you're like, that door has little lines on it and it's got a, I'm looking at my door. So that's just the detail that's in the door that you may not realize if you never see clearly. So then when you remove them, you're really aware of what's missing.
Mm,
So
mm.
that really helps with the active focus experience. Can be helpful for kids as long as it doesn't drift into over dependence on glasses. So but
No,
that's
I don't do it. It's just sometimes when I drive him to school, which is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum. Sometimes I just give him the glasses and I just tell him, okay, so look through the glasses and then take it off and look at the object without glasses to see the difference, and then try to do active focus, and tell me what's, how, like, what was the difference, can you compare these three visions, like the active focus vision, then no glasses, and then when you have the glasses on, and I'm just trying to sort of like test him this way.
Yeah. It is cool because you're giving the kids another tool as they're growing up, the awareness of their eyesight. Whether they make good choices or not is up to them, but at least they know, right? Like it's something you didn't know, I didn't know, but it's great that your kids have that awareness of
Yeah,
it's a crutch, it's a thing that I can modify my behavior and it'll change my dependence.
exactly. And I think that my kids are growing up with being a bit more sort of aware of the eyesight, which I find very important.
Yeah. You're doing great. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Makes me happy. I hope, yeah, I don't want to make this too long because people complain at me. People complain at me regardless. It's too long, it's too short. With these podcasts, like when they were an hour, they're like an hour is too long. And then I try to make them half an hour. And then people are like, well, but more details. But I think this is kind of a good amount, unless you have additional thoughts on what else you would recommend to people or tell yourself when you started out first, or other ideas that might be important for somebody who's just getting started.
Just keep doing whatever you're doing, and because I know it, that I'm a very impatient person and I want results straight away. And obviously that's not how it is with the eyes, and just keep going, just keep the consistency going, and that's the most important thing, just don't give up.
Awesome. I like it. Don't
Because
give up.
then you will have just you will be rewarded, with having a better eyesight, that when you wake up, in the middle of the night and you go to the toilet or somewhere, you can basically do it without glasses and you can see things. I can even cook something without glasses. It's amazing.
That's cool. That's awesome. Thanks so
Yeah,
much for being on. I really appreciate it. And let's
that's for
hopefully
having
we'll
me.
manage to somehow keep the calendars reminded that maybe we'll catch up again when you're down to maybe where you don't need glasses for close up.
Okay, so that would be like -2.
Yeah, around -2. Whenever you're like, I don't need classes for differentials anymore. If you remind me, that'd be awesome if we catch up again.
Okay, I will.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, and have a good one.
All right. Hopefully you thought this was pretty interesting. It makes me happy, these progress things. I can't guarantee because I never know if I manage follow-ups. I hope so. I really would like to chat with her again when she's completely out of glasses. If you're on the journey, hopefully these things add something to it. If you're thinking about it, I hope you'll try it for yourself. If you're somewhere where you can leave comments, send me emails, let me know what you want, what you think, what I can do better, what you want to hear about. That's it. See you in the next one.
Meow, 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 meow.